I am currently walking up a very steep hill, and so I thought this would be a good time to talk about walking your own pace.
Buen Camino. Let's talk about the hike from Foncebadón to Ponferrada. Now, this is an amazing hike, but it is also a very difficult hike. It'll take all of your fortitude to get through this one. It is 26.7 kilometers. It took us 36,743 steps, and it took us 8 hours and 35 minutes to get through the day. Now, the thing about this hike, this day has some very rough downhill patches, which I'm going to tell you all about. But let's first start with the coolest thing you're going to do on the way, and that is about 2 kilometers in, you're going to meet the Cruz de Ferro, or the Iron Cross. This is an iconic Camino spot where pilgrims come to leave their worries behind. The tradition is that you bring a rock from home, and that rock you use to embody your worries, and you leave that rock at the base of the cross. Some people will write messages on it, but you leave it here, and by leaving it there, you symbolically leave your worries behind. Rob and I brought rocks, and I think it's a really cool thing. About 2 kilometers later, you will climb up a little bit further. Oh, and then you will hit cutest little food carts you'll come across in the whole Camino. I really liked it. We didn't need to stop at the time, so we didn't, but it's really cute because the next part is downhill. And it is kind of straight downhill on a really rough path. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energies, a lot of stress on your knees and your hips. So be ready for that. If you've got poles, take them out and make sure you use those to help support yourself. At the bottom of the first part, you'll reach the town of El Ocebo de San Miguel, which in my opinion is the perfect Camino town. It is small, but it is beautiful. It looks very historic. The buildings are great. There's lots of benches that are all in the shade. There are several places to fill up your water. There are several cafes. It is absolutely adorable, and you will not want to pass through this town without giving it a little bit of attention. But then you hit another section of downhill, and you go down and down and down for several more kilometers until you hit the town of Riego de Ambros. Another cute town. It doesn't have all the services that we just saw in the other town, but it's another cute town. But then after that, you go down again, and you continue down until about the 19-kilometer mark. So at this point, you've probably done about 14 kilometers of really rough downhill. So just be ready for that. Luckily, at the end of those 19 kilometers, you will end up in Melena Seca. And Melena Seca, it greets you with the most stunning view. The churches are gorgeous. Everything's manicured. There's a river flowing by the front. And when we walked by, all of the locals were down swimming in the river. And it was just the most inviting, pleasant place. That is why a lot of people will stop here in Melena Seca. We decided to keep going on to Ponferrada, but I don't think it would be a bad choice to stop. The rest of the way from Melena Seca to Ponferrada is about 4 kilometers, if I have that right. Nope, 8 kilometers. So you have 8 more kilometers until Ponferrada. The thing about this section is it starts uphill, and it goes uphill for several kilometers, and it is barren and along the side of a road. So it's not one of the most pleasant parts of this. The rest of the day you were in the mountains, and even though it was hard, it was really gorgeous. This part, it's a little more barren. And when you actually do see the town of Ponferrada, it feels like the road takes you all the way around to the far end before you actually get into town. So if you are really tired, maybe stop in Melena Seca. But if you think you can go on, I say do it, because Ponferrada is a really cool town and a great place to take a stop. You're greeted by a castle, even if you're just passing through this town, take a stop, spend a little time at the castle and check it out. It is really a great castle and worth your time. The town itself is interesting. The part of the town that is on the castle side of the river is a beautiful old town. The town on the other side of the river is a little bit less charming. That's the part of town that we ended up staying in. Our hotel was Hotel San Miguel. We paid $56 for a private room and bath. It was like that part of town. It was a little rough around the edges, but the owner was so kind. The one problem was that they were having internet issues, so we didn't have any internet that night. It was a fine place to stay. I might want to stay in the Old Town section if I'm in that area again. Now, here's the really fun part about Ponferrada. Once a year, they have what are called Templar Nights. N-I-G-H-T-S, and it's a celebration of the Templar Knights, K-N-I-T-S, K-N-I-G-H-T-S, and it's a celebration of them being knighted and bringing the Holy Grail to the castle, and they have this major event that lasts several days. We happened to be there for one day of it, and we enjoyed as many activities as we could. They have foods and a Ren fair and a parade. There are games and people in costumes, and there's entertainment, and there's interactive areas and crafts, and it's just a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we were one day early for the really big event, which takes place at the castle, and there's all this big pomp and circumstance, and the castle's lit up, and there are fireworks and all kinds of amazing stuff. And we were sad that we were trying to figure out how we could make our schedule work so we could stay another night there, but we just couldn't do it. But if you happen to be there at the right time of year, check it out. It might be worth arranging your schedule so that you could go to that. Right now, I'd like to give a shout out to Ingrid and Slavo. They're from Canada, originally from Slovakia, but we have been on the same path as them for quite a while. For a long time, it was just hellos as we passed, but finally we had more opportunities to chat with each other, and they're really great people. So hello, Ingrid and Slavo.
Buen Camino. I am currently walking up a very steep hill, and so I thought this would be a good time to talk about walking your own pace. This is one of those things I think it's overlooked, and it's something that can be very important coming from someone who's had quite a bit of blisters, and of course we all get aches and pains along the way because it's just a lot of work to walk this much. But I think most of us have a natural pace that we like to walk at, and it's important to try and maintain that pace as much as you can, because as soon as you start trying to push yourself too hard, or at the same time if you're going with somebody and their pace is slower than yours and you're slowing down on purpose, that's when you start walking funny. And as soon as you start walking funny, that's when you get blisters, because your body's just not used to it. So right now we're climbing this super steep hill, and David has gotten ahead of me because his pace on the uphill is faster than mine. I'm the slow and steady. He goes a little faster. Generally speaking, we're pretty similar, but on these hills, he's up ahead. And that's how it should be, because if I was trying to keep up with him, I would hurt something. If he was dilly-dallying to wait for me, he might hurt something. And so keep that in mind as you're going along, not just on these very steep uphills, but even as you're walking flat. Find your pace, be honest with yourself about what that really is, and do your best to maintain it, because that's how you're going to have the healthiest and most enjoyable walk. Believe it or not, I am actually enjoying today. It is a gorgeous, beautiful day, but this is some hard work right now. So I'm gonna keep it short. Buen Camino. We do videos every day that we're walking the Camino, and I will put that playlist up right here for you to get caught up. Have a great day.